Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Earl Granville on the line, and Earl is a speaker, and the name of his program is The Weight We Carry, and today's episode is part of our National Social Media Awards series, where we bring you the best of those that are attending and participating in the National Social Media Awards, which will be taking place on the 7th of June here in Hollywood, California. To be at the Avalon Hollywood, and you can grab tickets. I'll be there in person. You can grab tickets at nationalsocialmediaawards.com. Earl, welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Adam, I'm very glad to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today, so I definitely want to get into your program, The Weight We Carry, and I do understand that you're also going to be attending the National Social Media Awards as well, so we'll get into that as well. But overall, I mean, let's go back a bit here and talk to me a little bit more about what inspired and what got you into creating content.
Sure. Well, after I was wounded overseas, and a big tragedy, unfortunately. I was a lone survivor of the blast that took my leg from everybody else in my vehicle. Unfortunately, died. My friends, Major Scott Haggerty and Specialist Derek Holland, passed away instantly. And we had an Afghan governor that was also in our vehicle, and a few days later, he passed away. So I got very lucky and, did my rehab at Walter Reed, and then got my independence back. Life was good. And then, unfortunately, 2 years later, while he was on active duty, my twin brother, Staff Sergeant Joseph Granville, took his own life. And I got to tell you, man, that was so much worse than losing my leg. And I would have given my other leg to have him here with us still today. But I went in a little downward spiral after that. And I got to tell you, though, I found such a great relief when I started surrounding myself with such a healthy community after finding a passion within physical fitness and being involved in CrossFit gyms and being in a running club and charities that help keep disabled veterans active. And I started speaking after that. Someone wanted me to tell my story somewhere at a parade and also a prison speaking with inmates. And I decided to write down what I was going to talk about, and I got up there and with a great attitude, and a lot of people really related to what I was discussing, and more important, not just the hardships, but what helped me get over it. And the magic of social media, I started just talking about, the importance of having a purpose and where a healthy community comes into play, where understand the people you surround yourself with when on those bad days, you don't have to carry that weight by yourself. And that was just important for me to spread that message, not just in the veteran community, which is a culture I was once a part of, but also just people in general. Anybody could relate to this, whether it's hardship in their time in military service or just everyday life. No, adversity is going to hit all of us at one point in our lives. But understand you don't have to carry that weight alone.
So how did you manage to overcome these obstacles? Because, I mean, obviously that's like the 1-2, and I'm guessing you had your own things going on with losing a limb. Like, I can't even imagine, how did you overcome that? You had community, but what do you think gave you the strength to make it over that hump or to make it to see that there's something more? Like, what gave you that strength?
Well, Adam, I remember when I lost my leg, we hit that roadside bomb in Afghanistan. I was conscious when I got hit. And, let me rephrase that. I was probably unconscious for about 90 seconds. And when I opened my eyes, what the heck just happened, And I took in everything, and I looked to my left, the vehicle was destroyed. And when my buddies called in a medevac chopper, I learned my friends passed away. But one of the things, I remember being on that Black Hawk, and they were taking me to Bagram Air Base, just thinking to myself, my mind is just racing at this time. I'm 24 years old. I'm so healthy. I'm such an active guy. And I'm like, what am I going to do with my life now, right? Well, I think one of the biggest helps, hindsight's 2020, looking back, I did my rehab at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. And this is now the year of 2008, in the summertime. And both these conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan are pretty heavy at this moment. And when I became an outpatient at Walter Reed, living on base, going to physical therapy every day in my wheelchair before I was able to walk with a prosthetic leg, I'm looking at individuals around me that have been there for quite some time. Like, there's a gentleman that lost both his legs who's been there for a little while, but he's doing these amazing things. He's running with 2 running blades, and You're really killing it in physical therapy. And when I look at individuals like that, like perspective starts to kick in, and I just think to myself, boy, this ain't going to be so bad. It's just going to take a little while to get there. Does that make sense?
It totally does. Like you're seeing somebody else, like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you feel like a little bit of like you're feeling yourself. What am I going to do? Then you see this other person, and they're kind of like a little bit further ahead in that particular journey than maybe yourself, and you're like, wait a minute, like, hold on, I didn't even know I could. Is it like that? I'm trying to I kind of feel what you're saying. Go ahead, please.
You nailed it right there. You're absolutely right. Like the darkness started to go away, and I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel. And I just started being active while I was still in the Army at Walter Reed. I started playing disabled sports like sled hockey. And just started.
So you're laughing again too. Like any sport you're playing, if you're playing with other people, you're laughing. You're like that community, like you're caught up in it, just like anybody else, any other community, right? Like you're laughing.
Oh, exactly. You nailed it. And sometimes there could be a little dark sense of humor with military, and
it has to be.
That first day at practice, my buddy Paul, he was like, "Hey man, do you ever want to see a cripple fight?" And I'm like, "What?" And we get on that ice and we're playing hockey just like the stand-up guys are, and it's like, what a great community.
Wow. That's great. I can see it, and you can see even like how that could work and how. So now obviously it's an uphill battle, right? Like you got some things that you still have to deal with. Like how does that piece of like getting reacclimated, like how does that work for you? Like, of course, before your brother and all that, because there was a period of time in between that. Like, how was that like getting acclimated?
Well, you have to show up. You have to want it. And for myself, and don't get me wrong, that, results may vary with patients. It's how far they want to go. And I just, go with my physical therapist. Her name is Kyla. She was also from Pennsylvania. And my occupational therapist, Orrin, he's from the D.C. area. And, working with them every day. It's just get that independence back and seeing the guys who've been there for quite some time. And, it was also something to look forward to every day when we would go to hockey practice in Maryland. And what comes with that? Playing hockey, you have to train. You have to be physically active. You have to be in that gym. So outside of going
and you're 24, 25 right now, right? If I'm reading that right, roughly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please continue. I'm just trying to think about the age group. Yeah, so you're in that peak. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm not only doing this for myself, but also for my teammates when we start playing those games. Like it's just a really good time, Outside of just getting there playing hockey or any other disabled sport, we're having a really good time doing it and meeting some amazing people. Like my buddy Paul Schaus, he was a Marine who lost both his legs over in Afghanistan, and he went on to be the 2014 U.S. national team for Paralympic hockey, for sled hockey, and I just remember sitting at a restaurant somewhere and watching them put the gold medal around his neck, and I'm like, I know that guy, but these are the people I'm surrounding myself with, just amazing individuals.
That's amazing. At what point did you know I know you mentioned that you were asked to tell your story, but when did you know that like speaking and sharing your story like had the power to help others? Like how did that hit you for the first time?
Well, to be honest, my attitude when I first was asked to speak, I was like, what do you want me to say? Right?
For sure, right? Like, what do you mean? I'm just...
Right. Yeah, and just some jackass.
If that's not your normal, like, reaction the first time somebody asks you to speak, there might be some problems there. But go ahead, continue. that is the appropriate reaction, by the way, so continue.
Well, to be fair, I was asked to speak at a federal prison in Allenwood, Pennsylvania. Right, a friend of mine, he wasn't the warden. He was like 2 under the warden. I don't know what his position was called, but he said, we're having a retreat with our corrections officers who were former military. We would love you to say a few words. And the next day, we're having the same speakers talk with the inmates who are also former military. And my background being in the military, something with the military, we always have events. Somebody gets up and speak, and what is called death by PowerPoint, right, from maybe a big colonel or something like that. And
for sure,
I didn't want to do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to really connect with my audience. So on the drive there, I remember I was wearing like a polo shirt and a T-shirt underneath it, and my hair's all done, and wearing khakis, and I'm like, okay. I parked the car in the parking lot, and I'm like, you know what? How can I relate best to a bunch of corrections officer? A culture that's similar like the military. There's a chain of command. You wear a uniform. So what I did was I took away the polo shirt and I had a T-shirt on underneath it, and I just put a ball cap on, and I got up there, and I thought of it more of entertainment than just speaking. Something to make them laugh a little bit or whatever with the message.
For sure.
And somebody in the audience said, "You're very good at this. I need you to go to my prison now and speak there." They were employed at a federal prison in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, which is probably about 20-some minutes away from Allenwood in Pennsylvania. And it just snowballed from there.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, the Bureau of Prison system took me in, and I'm speaking of prisons all over the country. And I just loved it. I was like, man, this is great. So I polished up my program a little bit, got a little training, and gave it a name, The Weight We Carry. And, we could discuss why I call it that later, but I just ran with it.
Yeah. No, get into that. It's a great time for us. So The Weight We Carry, why name it that?
Well, in these charities I run, we have a partnership with Spartan Race, obstacle course racing. And Spartan gives us a bunch of free bibs for each race that we do. And on these events, sometimes I just enjoy running them for fun. So what I did was one day while doing one of these events, we weren't out with any organization or any charity, or just me and my friends were out there running, having a good time. Well, what we did on this specific day, I found this half a cinder block sitting on the ground. And for whatever reason, my buddies had chains. And I took the chain and I put it around the cinder block, and we all carried it to the end finish line. And somebody asked me, "Hey, what's the meaning of the brick you're carrying?" And I was like, boy, I don't know. We just decided to do it. I just picked it up, took my buddy's chains, and here we are. Right?
Come on.
Well, and I'm like, I don't have a meaning. So I decided to give it meaning. Her name is Cindy the cinder block, and she represents the weight we carry, the weight of adversity. All those things that we carry inside: guilt, stress, depression, anxiety. The weight of adversity that holds you down and stops you from enjoying life.
Yeah.
Now, with Cindy and the Oscar Mike Foundation, one of the charities I run, we help keep disabled veterans on the move. We'll take Cindy out with us to run these races. And I'll start off with her. She gets pretty heavy. Well, luckily, I have a team, or we could call it a community, right there. So I'm not carrying her alone. And that's the same in our mind. The weight that we carry inside. Cindy's that reminder when we take her on our missions, whatever we're doing, we all carry the weight together. So the hardship that we deal as human beings is a reminder that we don't have to carry the weight alone.
Dang. And so go into your program, too. So now you also have a program with the name The Weight We Carry. So talk about the program.
My program called The Weight We Carry. I deliver my program in the art of storytelling, discussing my reason of joining the military. I had no desire to join the military. I feel like my background as a teenager, I'm going to these punk shows and I'm learning how to play guitar, even though I'm horrible at it.
That screams military. Go ahead. No, that screams get sent to the military because you did something. No, go ahead.
Well, the idea of joining the military, I was like, hey, it didn't really appease me, but I was one of those guys, hey, a free education, well, that sounds like a good idea to join. And so I made it about me. What can I get out of this, right? Well, Joe and I, we graduated high school at Carbondale area in northeastern Pennsylvania, just outside of Scranton. We had a nice summer, and we landed in basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, to become infantrymen. And the date was September 1st, 2001.
Wow.
We all know what happened 11 days later. And I got to tell you, Adam, I looked at Joe when this happened. I was like, Joe, what did you get me into? Because my mindset at the time was I was making it about me. What can I get out of this? It could be, call it a selfish reason of joining, but things shifted later on in life of why I joined, when I matured a little bit. Joe and I, we ended up going to Bosnia together, and we came home from Bosnia. We're in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, the 109th Infantry. And when we got home from Bosnia, being that we're National Guard, I enrolled in a local college in Scranton. And I got 2 semesters in when we got another warning order, but this was for Iraq. But it was a volunteer mission, and I wasn't going to go, but Joe wanted to go. And I was like, damn it, Joe, now I got to go too, right? I can't let you go by yourself. And I got to tell you, Adam, it was the best decision I ever made. I'm now 21 years old. I'm a little older. I'm not that punk teenage kid anymore. I'm turning into an adult, and I'm seeing the big picture of wearing that uniform and going to Iraq, becoming an NCO, a sergeant in this management role. I'm realizing
this isn't about me in college. It's about us and the people I'm with. And it just changed my whole mindset of why I'm doing this. And it made me love my job in the Army. So, Joe and I, we had a long tour over there with training and a year in country. It was 18 months total. And we both re-upped in country. And then I enrolled back into school, started getting more of that education. And then I got another warning order, and this is Afghanistan, another volunteer mission. And I told Joe I was going. And Joe's married at this point, and he wants to start a family. So Joe says to me, hey, man, I think we should go later. And when we have no choice, there's no volunteering. And I said, sorry, dude, I cut that cord, and off I went to Afghanistan with the 103rd Armor of the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. And this is the deployment I lost my leg. And I got to say, the first thing Joe said to me when he saw me face to face laying in that hospital bed at Walter Reed, the very first thing he said to me, looking at me in my eyes, and he said, I should have just gone with you.
Dang.
And I got to tell you something, Adam, that day I got lucky. My job usually is I sit in the shotgun seat of the Humvee barking orders as a staff sergeant, but we were escorting a civil affairs officer that day, Major Haggerty, and people we escort, they usually sit in the back seat. Major Haggerty liked to be in charge of the vehicle he was riding in. But I'm like, hey, you want to be in charge? Absolutely. I'll jump in that gunner's hatch, and I give my gunner, his name is Craig Rains, I put him as a passenger in another vehicle. And I'm saying this why I got lucky. If I was escorting anybody else that day, I would have been in that shotgun seat, and I would have been killed. So what do I have to complain about you?
Wow. The choices we make. Oh my gosh. Talk about
life is good,
trading the seat, trading this, like these choices we make that lead to different things. Wow. Unbelievable.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's like, it's funny you say choices we make, and even in life, the choices we make, Adam, we have the ability of how to react to something. And as human beings, once in a while, somebody may fly off the handle. But at the end of the day, you made that choice to fly off the handle. What can you do different so you don't fly off the handle? Does that make sense? Like somebody cut you off in traffic. How are you going to handle it?
Man. Earl, this has been great having you on today, man. I'll tell you, you have quite a story. I took away a whole lot, things that I need to think about. I'm sure my audience took a lot away as well. How do people, I know one of the things that you do in part of your business and how you help people is organizations have the ability to book you for speaking and other things, which obviously you're a great speaker, and also to benefit from your program. How do people follow up? How do they connect? How do they get more value out of what you're doing?
Well, you can find me on social media. It's just my Instagram handle is my name, Earl Granville, or my website at earlgranville.org. There's probably the two best ways to reach out to me, and they're all managed by me. And I do have a small team as well that manages my website, but for the most part, I'm the one answering the questions. And I work with corporations, sometimes retreats, from bigwigs all the way to even the local Boy Scouts and inmates and schools and everything in between. I just love to get this message out of finding those 3 Ps that we all need in life. We must have a purpose. We have to have a passion and part of something bigger than yourself. And the path to find those 3 Ps, a good attitude, stepping out of your comfort zone, and what we touched up a little bit on already, the power of what community can do. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us.
Amazing. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can connect with Earl and his team. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, this is a daily show. You heard me right. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Earl, man, appreciate all you do. Keep up the great work, and thanks for coming on.
Adam, I've been listening to a few episodes. I love your show. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.